All right. So hopefully stream will be sideways. Someone in chat just affirm that stream right now it's horizontally projected. It's not vertical like YouTube Shorts projection. I think I have chat turned on. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, hello guys. Buongiorno a tutti and welcome to the what's this Grand Prix called? To the 2026 Formula 170 Qatar Airways Qatar Grand Prix. Grand Prix Qatar. So yeah, we're gonna start, I guess, in due process. Right now there's no one here, but maybe someone will join. Who knows? Um, okay, yeah. So we'll start with normal pre-race procedures where we 2 minutes to think time. So yeah, all right, let's go. All right. So here we are at the 2026 F1-70 Qatar Airways Qatar Grand Prix. Now, because I've forgotten to do the simulated qualifying thing here. We're just gonna pray for the best. Yeah, this horse is gonna be our test subject for today. So how I usually do this, maybe it'll be like a little insight. So, but how I usually do this, I just do this and qualifying right now. See if only the top three are um the same as IRL. So the top three should be Tap from Jupiter, Ocon, and then third should be Tanner Bardol. So you can see that's not it. So we go again. Because then again, I want this to be a night race. So yeah. Okay, Tap, Ocon. Juan, sure, yes, but nah. Yeah, so this just gives you a bit of insight into how I do how I get the races to be so realistic. It takes maybe 25 attempts at most. No, that missed one. So yeah, uh, I guess we'll be here for a while, won't we? The race might have to start late. Oh no. Oh no. Ocon Jupiter. Ah, so close there. But yeah, I try to get these liveries and skins as close as I can, but sometimes it just doesn't end up happening because like for K-Mag for instance here, I have K-Mag's 2019 helmet because I don't have his 2020 helmet. So I'll just resort to using his 2019 helmet. Same with Grosjean. I think Grosjean I have his 2020 helmet. Ocon now. No, Ocon's on pole. What's going on with the tap right now? Why isn't he getting poles? I think I set him the highest. Yeah, so you might be here just a little bit. Just hang on a bit. I need to find. No, what's going on with the tap, bro? Maybe I need to change his setting a bit. 910. Put Ocon on 810, I guess. We'll put him on 910 too. I can't risk such. So here we go. Here. Oh. Might have done something wrong there. Yeah, so this is my pre-race setup. Okay, I just wanted to check if my mic was on. Dirksen O'Connell, no. This is my pre-race setup, so yeah. We'll get to the race in a bit, guys. So I'm just sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh. I just need P1, P2, like tap Ocon. Sure, I'll be fine with that. Ocon tap. Tanner's no. No. Let's see. Tap. Wrong Mercedes, but I can forgive that. I think I can forgive that. Can I forgive that? I can't forgive that. No, the Mercedes is too OP. Fine. I'll reduce the Mercedes power just by a little bit. Maybe like 6 out of 10. Then go back to the Haas. See what kind of difference that makes. Because he didn't qualify, but then again, it's a Mercedes. So I can't really eliminate him from qualifying. You get me? Yeah. I hope I'm making sense. So tap, Ocon, Dirksen, Badal. I can work with that. Chad, I think this is fine. Sure, Joe is a bit. He might not be happy with that, but this is Canada, so we're gonna continue on. Hopefully, he has a good start. I guess. And we have to pray. So there we go. The 5 lights are almost on, and we are on for a race. This will be the debut of Tipcom and the 2 Ferrari drivers. And the Qatar Grand Prix is go. Tap gets a great start ahead of the line, but we'll see what Ocon can do and what can the McLaren do as well. Can the Renault of Tanner take him into turn 1? No, they all stay behind the Alfa Romeo, but the Mercedes is looking for a move. Does the Mercedes go for the move? The Mercedes not go for the move, but Dirksen and the McLaren are battling it out right now, wheel-to-wheel racing, going into the end of Sector 1. But what can happen at the front here? Dirksen stays ahead. No, Tanner does. What is going on here in this race? But Tap manages to drive a superb race in the front. While he's already 5 seconds, 5 tenths, ahead of Ocon in the Mercedes W11 power. They are using different engines, so it might seem that the Mercedes might have the advantage, while the battle between the Renault and the McLaren of Dirksen has seemingly come to an end. But then again, onto the main straight. Tap will not have DRS, while Ocon will have DRS. But is Ocon being caught by the Renault? It seems so. While Joel has had a horrible start, actually. He's dropped all the way down to P12, while his teammate has managed to climb all the way up to P6. So here we go, onto the main straight. With no DRS. Does Ocon have DRS? Ocon does also not have DRS. This is the only DRS zone of the whole lap. Going into the first braking zone, Ocon makes up a lot of time. Ocon reduces the gap down to 5 tenths all the way, but Tap punches it back up to 6 tenths. He will not let himself be mugged onto any part of the circuit. He will not let himself he will not let his win just go away like that. The top 3 different engines, Ferrari in the Alfa Romeo, who sets the fastest Sector 1. You have Mercedes in the Mercedes and Renault in the Renault. What can these 3 do? What is going to happen here as we go onto the main straight with Joe and Juan Carrero? You can see that there's a big midfield fight back down there as Juan Carrero drops down. It seems as if he's dropped down, and the Williams looks like he might get a few points actually. He's seeming quite capable. Tanner sets the fastest in Sector 2. Tap is nearly into that precious 1 second range of DRS, while Tanner is on the hunt for Mercedes. Tanner is on his way to try and reach it as we go onto the main straight. Will we see a 3-way battle? Will Tap lose out? Let's see. He's not has his wing open. Ocon has his wing open. Ocon sets the fastest lap. No, Tanner does. As we go onto the main straight, as we go into turn 1, Ocon can only make up 3 tenths. Ocon can only try to reduce the gap as much as he can. But this means that will he have enough battery to make a move? Roaring past, mugging the Alfa Romeo. Ocon takes the lead of the Qatar Grand Prix. In lap 3, He's already managed to make fastest sector 1 and take the race lead away from Tap. What a move by the Mercedes. We all knew it was coming. Let's be honest, we all knew that this was going to happen. The Mercedes is just too powerful into these sort of tracks with lots of corners because the Mercedes is not that powerful down the straight. But can the Alfa Romeo come back as Tipcom manages to get ahead of the McLaren in this eerie fight for P4 and P5? It seems that on his debut, Dirksen will manage a whole lot of points as we go onto Sector 3, onto the end of Sector 3 and onto the main straight again. Will we see Tap potentially be mugged? Will we see what may be spelling doom for the Mercedes in the lead? It seems though, as Tap roars past onto the main straight of lap 4, these two are giving us excellent racing down into 10-1 of lap 4 of 28. These two are giving us amazing wheel-to-wheel racing. Former championship rivals in Season 2 are back for more, as there's only one DRS zone in Qatar, which means that the Mercedes will have to make a lot of ground, and he's been overtaken. And Tanner is fighting with the Mercedes, meaning that Ocon might drop from the lead into P3 in only 5 turns. What a move! What a mug! And it looks like Dirksen and Tipcom might try to rise to the occasion. But no, Ocon says, I will not be deterred by this. Ocon says, you will not take this race away from me. Ocon goes back into second place, into the Qatar Grand Prix as we go into Sector 3. But Tab has already managed to eke out a 2-second gap. Will we see the win of an Alfa Romeo for the first time, or will we see a podium of the ages? The Renault is catching. The Renault seems to have the advantage going onto the main straight, as Ocon does not have that precious DRS. Ocon will possibly be in danger here into the same spot where Tap overtook him. Will Tanner overtake him into P2 onto the main straight? Tanner leaps out and pulls ahead into P2 of the Mercedes. And he's already nearly into the DRS range. He locks up a bit there, but he's already nearly into the DRS range of Tap, who is in the lead. My buttons are absolutely, they're not working. Wow, okay. Tap seems to be driving quite the lonely race. But lest we not forget that Ocon is on the medium tire, which means that he will have the fresher tire coming out of, say, the second stint. But this battle here, and there's been a virtual safety car. Joe's retired. Joe has retired from the Grand Prix with a mechanical failure. It seems that he's been crashed into. No. Yes, he's retired from the Grand Prix with a mechanical failure. What a disappointment for the Red Bull man. Wow, he can simply just not catch a break, can he? Joe has retired from the Grand Prix, eking out a virtual safety car in the presence to neutralize all the racing. Now this will help Ocon quite a bit because he gets to rest his tires. But who it will not help as we resume racing into lap 5, it will not into lap 6, sorry, as Tap crosses the finish line, Ocon moves into second place. Oh, as Tanner goes into the pits to replenish his tires. And you can already start to see that this gap has already been reduced. You can see the Mercedes there in the mirrors. You can see how close he's trying to get, how much pace he's trying to extract. Medium tire versus medium tire. 9 out of 10 versus 9 out of 10. The same rating, equal pace, equal advantage. Who will come out on top? And there's been a yellow flag into Sector 1. But it's quickly been cleared away. Ocon is trying to reduce the gap on raw pace. You can see him there, just outside of the view. It seems that he's winning. He's managed to reduce the gap all the way. He's managed to reduce the gap from 3 or so seconds down to 1.9, hovering around 2 seconds. What a race this has been. As Tanner comes into the pits, down all the way into P18. Wow, Joe's not going to be happy about that with Red Bull at all. All this just means that Actually, the Williams is up for its first points of the season. How endearing. How endearing indeed. Um is there much racing going on right now? No. Ocon just needs to catch tap and as I'm seeing the kind of thing that these tires are gonna have, it's I was gonna say it's not looking likely, but here we go. Tip versus Dirksen. Tip on the softer tire, while Dirksen just manages to eke himself out, place his car in the right positions. As they go side by side, wheel to wheel, Tip has the inside line and thereby manages to push Dirksen away and comfortably take his position. But oh, Dirksen comes to fight back. He goes into the inside line instead, takes the position back, but not for long because of the superior racing point. He manages to once again take the inside line and force Dirksen to take the unlikely line, meaning that there might even be a Ferrari in contention for this. You can see them under the lights in Qatar, in quite a bit away from Doha. You can see the behind here, how much he's trying to catch him. But remember that the tip is on the soft tire, and that soft tire you can just see on it's graining so much, while Dirksen is on the medium tire. Yeah, just as I was about to say. So it's him and who else? Lutter, our who's on his debut for Ferrari. The two Ferrari drivers on their debut have now all peeled into the pits, as well as Albano, who's up on for his first points of the season, actually. Natap is going to drive a very, very lonely race out here due to I don't know what it is, but we saw it in we all thought that the Mercedes was going to absolutely dominate this when it seems as if it's a bit I mean, obviously the Mercedes is operating at the top level, yes, and their championship rivals are quite a far away. I mean, look, Red Bull's P18 and retired right now. Yes, I know they came into the pit, but you can't really say that. So yes, Mercedes are absolutely on fire right now, but it doesn't seem as if they're taking any meaningful advantage of pace right now. If you get what I mean. So only time will tell what might happen to these Mercedes cars. You can see Ocon is just trying to hover around that 3 second gap, but Tap is just increasing his gap steadily, and Ocon on the alternative strategy will come in for the hard tire, meaning that right now he will have to pit for softs, I believe, at the very end of the race. So we'll see and so does Joe, the other Ferrari, come into the pits. All this means that the Alfa Romeo now has almost no opposition. So if he stays out for roughly, I don't know, because Ocon is right in his pit window, right? I don't know how long the pit window is here in Qatar. I think it's around 23 seconds. So he's right in the pit window. And all this means that as long as Ocon can go comfortably below 14 seconds, then yes, there might be a chance. But that'll just mean that at the end of the race, if Tab does not go for the hard tire, if he instead go for, say, the soft tire, right? Then all this means that it'll just have to be another last lap battle to the finish line. And I think one thing that I'm getting real remembrance from is the 2020 no, not the 2020 Mercedes, the 2021 Mercedes. And yeah, here we go. Tap peels into the pits to change his tires. Now, let's see what happens. The Alfa Romeo pit box is quite a way ahead. I think it's round in the middle. So here comes Dirksen onto the main straight. Here comes Juan Carrero onto the main straight. Now it'll be a test from as far back as VQN. So Tap's just about to come out, and yeah, there you go. Ocon passes him just as Tap comes out. And you can see VQNLM, happy birthday, man. It is his birthday today. In the McLaren, he's driving quite an interesting race. He started on the hard tire, so he's been 10 laps on the hard tire. Very, very, very interesting. So he's one of the one, two, he's one of the 4 or 5 people that haven't pitted. And there, yeah, there he goes. He gets passed by Tepcon. Now, here is the race that we should be watching here. Of course, there's the one up ahead of Dirksen and Juan Carrero. I think that's for P something ish. I can't remember. But they've gone, they're the only ones on medium tires right now. They've gone 10 laps on the medium tires. Now, the test right now will be, can Tap masterfully manage his tires to, convert pole into a win, right? Because the only driver that's managed to convert pole into a win is Ocon, right? And Ocon is in a Mercedes right now. I think maybe I'm stressing too much on the fact that he's in a Mercedes, but yeah, he's not in the DRS range yet. Tap's right, is he? Yeah, his rear wing's closed. So yeah, Dirksen and Carrero come into the pits. Yeah, no, Tap's chassis is absolutely top tier. I have no idea the problems that are going on in Ocon's car right now, but it seems that Tap's car is just absolute, and we know how slow the Mercedes is on the straight, and you can just see Tap's just gaining, gaining, gaining. Every corner he's gaining. Every corner the gap is reducing. Every corner that Alfa Romeo is just powerful, man. Powerful, powerful, powerful stuff. Um, yeah, man. So I think it's going to be a last lap fiasco, definitely. Just because I think yes, Ocon has the older tires, but it's a 1 lap difference. And if you just see the tire temperatures of Tap's car, they're currently, I think that's 92. So they're basically nearly warm. The gap. Oh, he's catching, he's gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining, he's gaining. He will have DRS on the main straight. And this will be a fairly easy overtake for him. Let's get a different view. Just roars down the straight, past the Mercedes, into P1. Look at that. What a move. Now, can the Mercedes fight back? Will the Mercedes be able to fight back even? I know this game is just trying to freaking mess this up. Oh, 5 seconds for Albano for hitting Lutta. But Albano still gets past. Doesn't even concede the position. But yeah, look at Tap there. Tap's managed actually. I think that was going to be his one obstacle. You look here onto Ocon's POV. Yeah, Ocon doesn't seem to be catching him. I don't know what's going on with Mercedes right now. Because their drivers are P2 and P10, where I think I'm getting remembrances from Australia, right? Where um the Mercedes was actually, I think they managed to finish P2 P3, yes, but you can see Tabs already managed to put out a 1 second gap. Yo, there are 3 people watching this. New record. I think the record's 4 people actually. But to all 3 of you watching, hello. Yeah. You should speak of Tanner actually. What's been going on with Tanner's race? I mean, he pitted fairly early, so I would assume he'd be somewhere, I guess. But Albano in the AlphaTauri, he's managed to eke himself up to P4. Good for him. And VQNLM, I think he should pit, man. Those hard tires are destroyed right now. He's gonna get double overtaken by both the McLaren and the Mercedes. Actually, he's putting up a fight with the Mercedes. What is going on with Mercedes today? Their pace is just absolutely off the rails right now. Simply a disaster class. A disaster class, I mean. Yeah, Tanner Bardot comes into the pits. I don't know what's going on with him right now, but he's had to fight his way back up, you know. I don't know what kind of strategy Renault were thinking by putting him on that kind of strategy, but sure, I mean, frick it, bro, we ball. So maybe on this medium stint, I think he's gonna go for a 3. I mean, everyone goes for a 3 second monopause though, a 2 stop. I mean, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. of what I do know is that Taps managed to drive an absolutely stunning race in that Alfa Romeo. Absolutely stunning. I think, yeah, there you go. Easy move. If I were to compare this to a real life race, this is comparable to Pierre Gasly in 2021, uh, Esteban Ocon 2022, 2021, I mean, Pierre Gasly 2020. It's one of those standalone wins, I fear, you know. But yeah. Does it seem that Ocon's catching him? I don't think Ocon's catching him, hey? No, Ocon's not gonna catch him. But yeah, Tanner's don't know what kind of strategy he's been on because I think the Haas was he up against the Haas? Yes, the Haas has managed to pass him again. So yeah, but does it seem like Ocon's gaining? I think Ocon's gaining. I swear the gap was like at freaking 2 seconds. Now it's at 1 point something. Are we seeing the start of a remontada? Are we seeing a remontada right here from the Mercedes? The Mercedes might be catching him. I mean, yes, he had an opportunity to, but I think okay, yeah, now it's back down. It's back up to 2 seconds. I keep telling you guys that Mercedes is slow on the straight. We've seen this all season that the Mercedes just cannot perform without DRS on the straight and with good needs perfect conditions to even be competitive on the straight. That chassis is absolute. But yeah, Ocon seems to be catching. But maybe I'm jinxing it. Maybe. But no. Yeah, we might get some wheel to wheel racing. Ocon is on the remontada. VQNLM comes in. Yeah, VQNLM. It's his birthday today, but he comes into the pits. Oh, never mind. Remontada isn't on. Yeah, the remontada isn't on. It's just that the Mercedes, it just underperforms in any section where you have to go flat out for multiple corners or for more than 5 seconds. That Mercedes just explodes. Yeah, ne? Yeah. You see, already 2.5 onto the main. Yeah, yeah. I think Ocon's just used up all his battery, hasn't he? It's quite sad actually. But, but, strategy, strategy okay, strategy talk, right? If Ocon pits first, right? Say it's lap 24, not 24, let me say lap 26, right? And then Tap pits the next lap. Because we know that it took Tap a lap and a half after he pitted to catch Ocon, right? So if Ocon pits now, not now, but in when the second pit window opens, if he pits now, before the pit window opens, right? I mean, before Tap pits, right? And he comes out with softer tires, right? Then he would be able to, you know, eke out a race win, another race win, to make it 3 in a row, you know? I think the record for most wins in a row is Ocon. He won three races, I think 5 races actually. In season one, it was uh Saudi Arabia. I do I remember? Yeah, it was Saudi Arabia, Miami, and then Imola. I came after Imola. Ah, no, it wasn't 5 races in a row because he didn't win. Yeah, no, it was 3 races in a row in season one. But someone fact check. You can go check out the Instagram, guys. Shameless plug. Check out the Instagram. Type. So, what was Reynolds' plan this whole time? Because I'm sat here thinking, what were they thinking, pitting Tanner before the pit window actually opened? Didn't that just frick up his whole race? That's quite a stupid move from Renault, if you're asking me. Were they trying to pull a Lewis Hamilton or something? Because why would you pit while the field is still bunched up? Yes, we'll have the softer tire, but still. I mean, here comes Rafa Caetano into the pits. That's the only way that, you know, Tanner's gonna pass him and it's for P11. It's been a disaster class for Renault. Honestly, I'm not even going to lie. It's been a disaster class for Renault. But one team that hasn't been a disaster class for is Racing Point. They've managed to pick up a podium for themselves with Tipcom. How surprising, hey? How very surprising, very intriguing indeed. Let's see. Our Knowles versus the Renault. What's gonna happen? The Renault is right behind. So this is for P10. This is indeed for P10. So will Our Knowles really? If Tanner can't get past Our Knowles to fight for P10, at the bare minute you can see that he goes off track. But yeah, does he make it stick? He doesn't make it stick, but he will make it stick later on. There goes Tipcom, his Our Knowles' teammate, into the pits. So does Albano go into the pits. So yeah, I mean, look, I'm not one to try and dictate things, right? But pitting first will obviously be the worst decision in this kind of game, in this game where strategy is key, right? You don't get much wheel-to-wheel racing in this game, I can't lie, but it does make for some good World Championship. P20 Joe, and yeah. So Ocon really needs to extract the most out of his tires, and actually, what's going on here? What's going on? He's managed to eke out into the DRS range. Will he do something? Ocon, maybe Ocon. Maybe we've been sleeping on Ocon. No, he doesn't. He goes once again into the DRS detection zone, just outside of that precious DRS range. Wow. But Ocon actually comes into the pits and he pits first. What a move from Mercedes. I mean, what are they trying to say about Ocon's race? Tipcom goes fastest in sector 2. I think Lutter's going to pass Ocon into the pits. Will he? It doesn't seem so, because he also comes into the pit. So we're watching Juan over here. Yeah, no, that's not happening. But Dirksen's gone for the move into P3. What a move that was. So yeah, if Ocon can extract the most out of these medium tires, because I doubt Tap's going to pit this lap. If Tap pits this lap, then you can definitively say that yeah, he's gonna win that race. He's gonna win this race in Qatar, right? But if if Ocon can do something with these mediums, and if Tap stays out, maybe Tap will stay out for another lap or so, or maybe a lap or two, right? Then that will give Ocon the perfect opportunity to start pushing. Because one thing I've noticed about Mercedes is that the only way is Tap going to go for another lap, or is he going to come in? Yep, he's gone for another lap. Which means that Tap might actually be going for the overcut. Oh, there's a lap. Is that Tanner or is that guy? Yeah. That's the run up in P16. So yeah, Tanner has managed to shoot up, languishing wherever he was, into P8. So Letta goes fastest sector 2. Yeah. So Ocon's managed to gain on Tap. So Ocon needs to go very fast right now. If he doesn't set a fastest lap this lap, then thoroughly, I would say that he's finished. Thoroughly, I would say that he's finished. Well, he's finished. Because there you go. Letta sets fastest sector 3. I haven't seen any fastest sector times from Ocon right now, even though yes, he's making quite a thing back to Tap, right? If Tap needs to stay out for one more lap, just so that Ocon can have even a chance, man, even a chance of trying to do anything right now, because right now it's all about strategy at the front row, but behind that we have the battle between the Mercedes of Juan and Dirksen, it seems, for P4, I think. So Dirksen's not actually trying to cover him off. So does Tap come into the pit? No, Tap stays out. So this might be Alfa Romeo's biggest... Whoa, hold on. Okay. He does not go for the move, but he will have DRS because Dirksen won't have DRS, which means that Dirksen will just cruise on by. Or do they both come into the pits at the same time? No, they don't come into the pits at the same time. Who's that? Tipcom! Absolutely roaring down the straight. Whoa, Dirksen goes for the defensive move, but it's not enough to dethrone the not yet proven race winner, but he's definitely going to go up there. So, but Dirksen will want to go for a move, will he? Does he? He does! He storms back up into P4. On that, so all this means that he now has 3 seconds to make up to Tipcom. Yeah, because it seems as if that this is not going to be set. Tanner has managed to craft a race of his own, although he's under massive pressure from Albono. So we'll tap. This is the question now. We'll tap pit this lap. Let's go onto his onboard, and he does pit. So if he pits for mediums, then I can say that yeah, no, his race is finished. But if he pits for softs, then that'll be a different story. So let's watch this pit stop. Frick. Why can't I watch the pit stop? And he pitted for mediums. Ocon roars past, and there will be a lot of traffic coming his way. If he can get ahead of Tipcom, yes, he does get ahead of Tipcom. So that's 11 seconds he needs to make up in 6 laps for him to say that he can win this race. Right? I think you can see that, yeah, this battle is definitely finished. But, I can say, Tipcom with the fresher tires, will he be able to make something of his own? Who knows? But yeah, so between these two, there are 2 back markers. There is the Williams of Edward and the Haas of Senna. Tanner comes into the pits again, trying to salvage whatever he can of this quite disastrous race. I will see if I do say so myself. So you can see Tap's absolutely flying on these tires. They're not flying, but he's definitely doing better than he was on the... Yeah, there you go, faster sector 2 actually, but he's still down on his time. He's still down on the fastest lap, which is still Tanner Bardot at the stage of the race. Yeah. So Ocon's just crossed the finish line. Will there be more back markers for him to pass? Potentially might be his own teammate. No, it's not going to be his own teammate. How many seconds behind is Tap? Tap is still 13 seconds behind. Now, I'm not going to wish anything. I'm not going to say anything to curse, because my words curse a lot. But yeah, it seems quite likely that we might have a last lap dash to the finish line. I'm only saying, okay, Tanner Bardot gets track limits warning. There's been a yellow flag in sector 1. Holy heck, what's going on? Okay, it's been cleared. Edward, track limits on 2 warnings. Joel still with the 5-second penalty. Ooh, that's probably going to hurt his race. So yeah, it seems as if, though, Tap just might be able to edge Ocon out. Just edge him that little bit more at the end of this, at the end of 5 laps to go. Right, we are on board with Tap right now, yes. He is in P2. And Tipcom has actually managed to drive quite a decent race on his debut with 5 seconds for Juan Carrero for a collision with the Ferrari of Joe. So where will that put him? 45 points. That'll put him into like P13 or so, becoming the first Mercedes driver this season to not score a point. How very interesting. How very, very interesting these closing stages of the Qatar Grand Prix are shaping up to be. We've got a chasing Tap trying to find glory once again to become for his 11th win in Formula 170. We've got Ocon chasing for his 16th win to only put him 1 behind the all-time record for most wins, which is 17. To win his 4th race in a row, to win his 3rd race in a row, indeed, to try to tie his own record for most race wins in a row. So the standings here, Tap is still hovering around that 10-second range with 4 laps to go. He's quite hovering 10, 11, 12-second range. Joe comes in to clear himself of any debts, and by debts I mean his penalties. Um, yeah. Oh, and the freaking Williams in P5. There's a freaking Williams in. I feel like we're not paying too much attention to that. There's a freaking Williams in P5 actually. Wow. So yeah, Tap definitely on the charge. Tap is definitely on the charge right now. I think he's definitely laid out a solid plan. With 3 laps to go, he's only 7 seconds behind Ocon, but there are still back markers, and I think those back markers might be the thing which will hurt Ocon on the final lap, because Tap has managed to make up like 3 seconds onto the main straight. And do you know why I say he's managed to make 3 seconds on the main straight? Because the Mercedes, as usual, slow on the straight. Absolutely just miserable on the straight. So you can just hear the roar of that Ferrari engine. Even though it's not a Ferrari, if he wins, he will... it'll be like that one time a non-Ferrari engine won. A non-Ferrari car with a Ferrari engine won. Like Vettel 2008. Those of us who remember. Yeah. So Tap seems to be catching, but at a steady pace, yes. Will it be enough for the end of the race? I think so. Maybe, it seems. Because right now, Ocon comes into the pits for soft tires, I'd assume. West with soft tires. Which means that Tap will now be at the disadvantage because he will now have the older tires. You can already see those bits of oversteer and understeer. So now Ocon is on the back foot. He's the one with 10 seconds. Yeah, he won't be interrupted at all. He will not be interrupted at all. But he will have to get past Tap's teammate in order to finish this off. So on the soft tire, now you have to ask yourself, Tap's comfortably in the lead. And in Malaysia, we saw Ocon close like an 11-second gap in like 2 laps, right? But that was in Malaysia. That's a track that favored Mercedes above all else. Malaysia is a track that favors Mercedes. Qatar isn't. Qatar favors the more aggressive cars, not the classic cars of Mercedes and Ferrari. Qatar favors the more aggressive cars of the Alfa Romeo, who's trying to fight for midfield, of Red Bull, for example, right? So what will Ocon do? Because yes, he's come into the pits for a 3-stopper. Yes, it's alternative strategy. Yes, he's fastest in Sector 2, right? But will it be enough? There are only 2 laps left, in the 2 full laps left in this race, right? And unless Ocon can manage to configure something of his own, right? Tap's run home and dry. He's okay in where he is. Unless the Mercedes manages to extract some pace out of somewhere. I just don't think it's going to happen. I think it's just going to be a P2 finish for the Mercedes. Maybe he'll be able to replicate something similar to what he did in Malaysia with that amazing 3-stopper. But Tap's fast. Tap's flying. Yes, I will admit that gap is reducing handily. And there are back markers to slow Tap down. Right? But there's also a back marker to slow Ocon down as well. But then again, the gap's down to 8 seconds. You see, back markers just block Tap there. I just don't think, Ocon might have, maybe he might be on the charge, right? But the charge right now is not seeming all that likely. Tap's going to be in free air. Ocon's not going to be in free air. So unless, I don't know, maybe an engine failure happens, Tap's run home and dry. Tap has run home and dry. He's good for this race. Crosses the DRS line. He won't have his rear wing open as we start the final lap of the Qatar Grand Prix. Now, the story of Tap has been something of challenge. He is a one-time world champion. He is a man of prestige. He is a man of sensibility. He is a man who will honestly just do whatever he wants. Whatever he wants. No one would have expected him to come out of nowhere. No, he is someone who out of nowhere just always manages to dominate these kinds of races, just always manages to pull through at the very last second. Ocon sets fastest sector 1, right? But Tap is already has already started sector 2. Ocon passes a back marker, but this is the story of Tap. The story of resilience, the story of brilliance, the story of someone who's not willing to give up, the story of someone who simply could not care less about the things happening around him, someone who's only going to manage his own race and see how that happens, someone who's going to cross the final corners now and see the checkered flag first, someone who throughout everything, he has stood unchanged, he has stood nonchalant as always. Tab will look and see the checkered flag first. Tab wins for Alfa Romeo. Tab from Jupiter wins the Qatar Grand Prix. And quite handily by that. Ocon in the Mercedes will finish where he started in P2. Alfa Romeo have now managed to clinch their first win in over 3 seasons. What a drive. Tipcom on his debut takes the fastest lap away from Tap. For on his debut, he will stand on the podium as a Racing Point driver. Joshua Dirksen will advance to take his first point, and Eric HTX will take his first points for Williams F1 team. It'll be 4 points. So does Albano. So does Joel. Wrapping up the top 10 of a thrilling Qatar Grand Prix. What a race, what a race. Alfa Romeo are properly stunned by this right now. Mercedes, this whole race had no answer to the question of where is the pace. Mercedes, this whole race had no answer to the question, can you stop the tap from Jupiter? What a race. P1. This is a podium you don't see quite often. So we go over the race results. P1 Tap, Ocon, Tipcom, Lutta on his Tipcom and Lutta on their debuts have scored P3 and P4 for their respective teams. Dirksen, Carrero, Badol, HTX, Albano, and on his debut for Ferrari, Joel manages a P10 finish. 11th follows Gaetano, Aonols, VQNLM, Eric, Dal, Senna, Anthony, Graham, Edward, and who sadly retired from a mechanical failure, Joe. Now, we will have the podium celebrations. Alfa Romeo are an Italian team, are they not? So just bear with me now. Just a little bit. Just give me like 2 minutes, guys. So that is Qatar. Um, before I give thanks, I just want to end the stream. This is the first time I'm actually kind of mad that I didn't win a race. I got P2. Um, because yes, I am Ocon. Admin is Ocon confirmed. So I'm kind of disappointed that the strategy didn't work for the soft tire. But yeah, it's quite rough. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thank you to the whole three people in attendance. I know it's one right now. I think it's probably Eric. Thank you, Eric, for watching. But if it's not Eric, thank you, whoever you are, for watching. Tomorrow around the same time we will have the Canadian Grand Prix, and who's on pole for that? That is Joe. So Joe, who's retired from this race, may have his redemption and might be able to take a race win. His first race win. Tap has already made 11 race wins. Win number 11 today. His first of season 4. So thank you for watching today's race. And yeah, I'll see you guys in chat. I'll see you guys tomorrow when we stream Canada.